Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. We're in the middle of a game. My goodness gracious, we've done it. We've been able to get this one going. Let's take a look at the fight recap. You didn't see the fight, but you don't need to because you can see the recap. Lyrical Dota joined by Danelie casts, and we're going to be taking a look at CDEC.Y facing off against EHOME. We just hopped right on into this one, didn't we?
We did. I jumped in at 6 minutes and I saw 3 heroes die at the rune spawn, all CDEC heroes.
Oh god, Olan, I'm getting chased on down. He is going to end up dying, so unfortunately Mr. Clink starts it off dead right there at the start. Sorry for a little bit of the jarring introduction, but we realized that we're going to switch over to this game and cast it from where we're at, since this one is a little bit more interesting. It's the main event, and the loser of this drops down to the loser bracket, while the winner moves on to the winner bracket and into the winner finals. So pretty big stuff. Big name teams too. I'm excited to be casting this one.
It's good though as well, not just because they're big name teams, but the best way to compare the best of the best is for the best teams to sort of play against each other, and then you can sort of you can gauge the skill cap between both teams. So this is going to be a good indicator as to who would be the better team out of CDEC.Y versus EHOME. Obviously there are mistakes and better team may lose. But yeah, this is going to be a really good series. It's best of 3 as well, so we've got a lot of games to go, assuming that it's not a 2-0, which, knowing these two teams be really good, they can definitely take games off of each other, so hopefully it's a 3-game.
Max range right there as well. He ended up being able to get that initiation off with the max range, and Cold Snap is going to be there. They do find the kill again, so very well played. Call down going to be committed. It looks like they're thinking about going in. Ice does not have his black hole. It's already been used, and they pop the sun now, dropping pretty low. Can they beat it down quickly enough? It does look like they're going to be able to make it happen, and they get the kill. Tidehunter picks it up. Nicely done there. Exorcism committed. It's all kinds of crazy here in the mid lane, trying to chase them down, but not going to be able to be the case. They do still have the Invis rune available right now, so Old Chicken, being a little bit of a sneaky person, they're able to find it. Only kills off the Phoenix, though.
And they're actually going to transition this into a small push, so this is the great thing with Enigma as well as Death Prophet. If you manage to win a team fight near the enemy towers, you can transition it into towers really, really quickly. And with CDEC's major spells on cooldown, you can't really do too much to defend it. They do have they've got Chronos here to work with, so we've got to keep an eye on XZ if he's able to grab that really clutch Chrono.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really going to be the moment right there where you want to try and go for it. And it's a little bit sketchy because you're doing that around Black Hole, like you're doing that around Ravage. So if you drop down a Chronosphere and you're able to get counter-initiated upon, there's that natural dyssynergy there where EHOME can counter them out. But it really comes down all to execution, and I feel like Tidehunter normally is going to pick up Ravage by level 8, but Old 11, he's breaking the norm here. He's not going for it.
He doesn't really need to grab the Ravage now, I suppose. It looks like he's just going to be saving up for level 9. He wants to really get the points into Anchor Smash so he can farm the jungle a little bit more quickly. He has the Iron Talon, so this was an indicator that he has been farming a lot more this game than your typical Tide. And he's really showing for it. You look at his farm and he's in a pretty good spot for a Tidehunter. I'm wondering if it's going to be the mechanism next, just to give his team sustain. They're going to commit the Chrono onto 11, but the support is here. Sunstrike as well. They couldn't quite save him, but they're going to try and buy enough time. Unfortunately, the Sunray just too strong. It's a level 3 Sunray, and that really cuts through the Tide.
Yeah, nicely done there to be able to secure that one. And now you're looking here again. You've got the Gyrocopter in the top lane. He's just been able to farm so efficiently, and every time you get the kill off on those Eidolons, it's really bad. I don't think that it would have been a great opportunity there for him to drop the Ravage, even if he did have it. Like, it's still one of those moments where if they're going to commit a whole, Chronosphere for you and rotate all those heroes to the mid lane, I think it's fairly okay. But you look at the difference in terms of team net worth, and with all these big ultimates that EHOME have gone for, they've been able to come out a little bit ahead. They've been able to build a nice little lead for themselves, and I'm kind of curious where they go from here. As already the Invoker has the Midas, it's kind of that item that allows him to accelerate and farm ahead of other mids, and I want to see how the Death Prophet deals with it in this game.
I think the Death Prophet will be reasonable. My main concern with CDEC's draft right now is that they don't have the best push. So even if they take a really good team fight, taking towers is still going to be a really slow affair. So for CDEC, they're going to have to try and take these towers smartly, maybe have the Invoker split push and have the other team keep just EHOME busy, and also prevent EHOME from pushing because they've got a Clinks. Lan M is going to be able to take towers very quickly by himself if there's no one on CDEC to protect them. Same with the... oh god.
Yeah, they committed the cooldown for that one. It was a heck of a lot of damage coming back the other way, though. Like, if you're going to try and go for a rolling boulder into the mid lane, you need to know where the rest of the team is, because there were just 4 hero mids there that ended up being able to find the kill. So, nicely done. Old Lanham comes back in. They're going to start to apply a good amount of damage to this tower, and suddenly you're looking here as CDEC.Y you can't TP in to try and defend this, because you're TPing into a Ravage, essentially, and you're TPing into a Black Hole, potentially. Like, this is really what the power of that Tidehunter is when you start taking towers and you play aggressively with it, you can't contest.
It's not just the Tidehunter effect, though. Like, the entire draft of EHOME revolves around these huge teamfight ultimates. And if you're CDEC, it's great you catch the Tide, but then what about the Enigma? What about the Death Prophet? All 3 of these heroes are major threats, and you've only got 1 Chronosphere. So yeah, if they don't grab a Chronosphere onto the 3 major heroes, then it's really difficult for them to engage into EHOME at all. They're going to try and contest the Roshan at least, but is Roshan going to die in time? They could get a really good Chrono if they're actually quick enough.
Throw down the cooldown, gonna be able to jump in. The Magnetize is there as well. Ravage counter initiation, but the Chronosphere only hits onto Old Chicken, and he's gonna be able to kill off the Earth Spirit right off the start. The egg was on the backside, did a ton of damage, and he's still gonna be able to survive. This is a complete and total disaster right now. Are EHOME gonna be able to outdo the damage though? And it looks like Clinks is gonna be able to start swinging it around. Everybody on CDEC.Y is so low, but they don't manage to actually lose that many heroes. I was really surprised in that.
They almost lost Old Chicken. He was sitting in the meatball because there was nowhere to go. But just when he was about to die, the ghost started returning. The exorcism expired, and all the ghosts healed all the damage that Old Chicken had received. So, all in all, it could have been a Death Prophet death too. But because of the exorcism expiring, that saved his life. That was such good timing too. Yeah. Obviously not intended, but still.
I'll also say that Ice went into that Roche pit with no mana, basically. So he popped the Soul Ring to be able to get the mechanism off, but that meant he didn't have anything left over for Black Hole afterwards, and that's something that's a little bit too bad for him. Old Chicken? Oh, God. All right, this is a problem. They're going to be able to jump in. Sunstrike is not going to hit, and it looks like Old Chicken actually just walks away. So they didn't want to end up trying to go for that one with... it was like really close to Demons being able to hit the stun, and then that would have been the kill, but just didn't quite work out for them.
Yeah, did you also catch the Gyrocopter down the bottom lane? Yeah. Yeah, he died pretty quickly. Well, they're going to try and go for a jump in again onto Death Prophet, but if it's just the Earth Spirit, what are you really expecting to do? The team is so far behind him, and they don't really have the appropriate follow-up. Although Victoria's going to try and go for Ice, but the Insta TP going to guarantee that he gets out safely, and nothing really lost for EHOME. Invoker died mid lane.
Yeah, they got him with they comboed him up, and it's again, anywhere that you go, 3 heroes from EHOME are always going to be able to kill CDEC's squad, and nobody is really safe. Phoenix, they need to be careful against this, because, and this is what we saw at Shanghai happen pretty consistently when you run this sort of double bubble strategy. You've got the Black Hole and then also the Ravage, or potentially the Chronosphere being available as well. Because there's always going to be something up and ready to go, you're very rarely going to have to commit a Ravage and a Black Hole in a team fight, and that means that there isn't that natural scared part where you're going to end up running into several. Old Chicken is going to get caught out now. Cooldown's going to be committed, and she does manage to get taken down. Fenrir's here as well. There's the defensive snowball for the moment. They're rotating in with the Tidehunter. He's going to have the Ravage available if they want to go for it, and it looks like they might be trying to bait this out. Is Fenrir going to be able to survive, though? He's just barely going to be able to walk away. He does finally go down, and Old 11 trying to take this out. The Ravage is popped. It catches onto 3. Stunned up for the moment. Phoenix goes down, and Old Lanham trying to do a bunch of damage, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, off to the side, Ice is trying to chase down YXC. They are going to be able to commit the Black Hole for him solo. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? The right click's coming in from Clinks. Is going to be able to do it, but he time walks away, and they don't find the kill. Oh, Black Hole and Ravage, and now it's a situation where it's really hard for them to defend once they end up getting into a situation where CDEC ever respond. They might be able to take advantage of this timing when they're both down.
They absolutely can. T1 is guaranteed with the Clinks and Enigma on your team. If they got the Faceless Void kill, that would have been an added bonus. But now that Black Hole's on cooldown, that's going to be one of the major spells on cooldown for about 2 minutes for EHOME, or 3 minutes really, just a little bit under. Although Old 11, he's still going to have the the Tidehunter Ravage in about 100 seconds, so that's going to be a spell available for EHOME. CDEC's got to be super careful. It's fine if they want to try and go for these small pickoffs, because as EHOME, they never really want to be fighting separated. Their entire draft revolves around fighting as a team, using the big ultimates, and really controlling CDEC. And also, there's going to be that mentality game where if you're CDEC and you're going up against EHOME's draft, you always have to second guess your movements, because you don't want to walk into a Ravage, you don't want to walk into a Black Hole or an Exorcism. Yeah. So it's like, it's so difficult for CDEC to position themselves in the game that they're sort of forced into a spot where they need to go for these small pickups rather than trying to fight EHOME. So while we've got this downtime though, it's a good time for CDEC to start farming up these items. Although the Gyrocopter unfortunately seems to be rushing a BKB.
Yeah, he kind of, I mean, in a certain way, you kind of need it. Like, EHOME's draft can do so much damage. Oh, they spotted out old Lanham there. I think that he realized it, though, as the flat cannon shots were going his direction. There's a sentry ward that was placed down there. And I get the idea. It's worth noting that he didn't end up even going for the Helm of the Dominator, so I don't know exactly. It's a little bit strange, because it does feel like maybe you would have been able to go for that first item to ensure your farm, and the fact that he didn't go for it, that means that he's going to fall off pretty quickly.
Not just fall off really quickly though, but to buy defensive item first, it means that he's investing everything that he has into not only survivability, but he's hoping that the cooldown as well as the rocket barrage is going to be enough to be his sustained damage during this early portion. The problem is that if he can't find farm after this BKB, the Gyrocopter is going to be a non-factor, and all of a sudden we've got EHOME. They're coming in for a rotation. They've got Chicken. He's actually looking to go in for the lead, and Lanham's eating a creep too with the double damage rune. He can actually blow up some of these heroes, and Demon 2 hits and actually gets taken down from the Clinks 11 with a beautiful Ravage. The Chrono comes in, but it's just too late. The cooldown, it's not really going to be doing too much as EHOME. All their heroes are so tanky. They do throw the Supernova. No one's going to be in range to do that, but it really doesn't matter. No one's going to be focusing on the Phoenix. They want Inflame instead. They've got XY trying to come in. He gets one bash onto old Chicken, but he just gets completely melted. Now we've only got Victoria and Arme in really awkward spots. The Phoenix can dive, but unfortunately a Gyrocopter can't fly, and he goes down as well.
Oh god. And the thing that's it hurts so bad about that is you see this enormous comeback. Like, Invoker ended up having to buy back in that fight and then die back afterwards. If he was able to lay down anything on top of that Chronosphere, it would have been huge. The long duration silence to start the fight, like, Death Prophet was mid-animation off the back of the... they need to be careful. There's a lot of damage there. Demons, is he going to end up dying here? Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
But, like, Earth Spirit, he got the silence off to start the fight before DP could get off her Exorcism, and then they followed up with the Chrono. Like, it looked perfect, but the damage just wasn't there because Invoker wasn't in the fight. And so, if they were able to get the combo fully working, it would have worked, and I think that they would have been able to win that engagement.
They found Victoria.
It's too much. No. And now they're just crumbling. Like, they're going in one by one and trying to keep them off this tier 2 tower. Just let the tower fall. I don't know.
They really want to defend it though. They're showing a lot of persistence, but they still don't have Chrono for another 25 seconds. They're gonna try and finish off Ice. He does finally melt. The snowball didn't come in time to save his life. Now Fenrir is isolated as the rest of his team runs north and he runs to the east. Fenrir is quite tanky, but assuming that they can keep him blocked in, that should be a kill. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be a small consolation prize here for CDEC. They didn't lose the tower though, so I suppose their persistence finally paid off, but in the form of a few too many lives.
I mean, yeah, they got the 2 kills on the return. They were able to save their tower, but I think that they lost like 3 trying to do it. And I don't know. I feel like EHOME are doing a really good job of prioritizing things, and they're trying to take fights when the big ultimates are on cooldown, which is great as well. But I'm just... It feels like CDEC.Y are feeling a little bit scattered right now. Maybe a little bit of that, the sort of experience is working out right now in the way of EHOME. And as you can see, in terms of the difference in net worth, it's a 10k net worth lead. And experience-wise, it's about the same. That little, comeback was pretty good, but it all came down to that fight near the tier 1 tower top.
Lanham is getting huge. He's got his Deso, so he can take down heroes really quickly. He managed to grab a kill onto the Invoker in his own jungle. And obviously with the Clinks factor, CDEC have got to be so careful. Oh, Dire Courier was killed.
That's the Blink Dagger for old Lanham.
Where did that die?
I don't know. Couldn't see where it was, but I can see what was on it.
Okay. Oh wow, I didn't know where that died though.
They must have been.
BKB done.
I think that he was just way far out, and he was in the jungle, and probably it was a TP back by the. Probably not the gyrocopter. I imagine that it would have been the Phoenix or maybe the Earth Spirit, but either way, they ended up being able to take it down, and it's going to be a little while without the Blink Dagger on Old Lanham, and it's going to be a little bit worse for the wear because of it.
Okay, so for now, I just got EHOME just occupying their own sides of the map. They've got a little bit of support here in Old Chicken looking after Lanham, who's farming the lane. And it seems that CDEC, they're keeping a few heroes down, and they're also going to be coming in with demons from the north. But you take a look at EHOME, they're bringing in their own support too. So it seems that they want to really get some pressure done in this bottom lane and at least take the T2. And get control around the Roche Pit, of course.
They're going to be in a pretty good position now and looking for their opening. Again, you do have the Blink Dagger, or not the Blink Dagger, Ravage available. They snowball forward, going to chase now after the Phoenix, and it's going to be way the heck over there as the Sunray turnaround. They're not going to have it for the rest of this fight, though, if they want to continue this engagement. So lift up with the Yule Scepter. Silence is available if they want to use it, but not for now. Fenrir's still down low, but not dead, and it looks like EHOME are going to commit to this one. They've got Old 11 in the area with the Ravage and Blink Dagger available, so as soon as they see that opening, they're going to go for it. And again, I question about Inflame not being there with his team. He's going for as much as he can, but if they end up finding an opportunity for a Chronosphere, they have to have his damage for it. And
They're
I guess
probably
that ends
not
up
going
working.
to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to Chrono unless Inflame is there. Otherwise, the only reason they'll probably Chrono is to just counter-initiate to get the team into safety. Because obviously, if there's no follow-up with the Chronosphere, what's the point? You may as well just not stick around. I suppose you can, to a certain degree, rely on Victoria to do some sort of damage. You can't really underestimate the Sunray, as that can do quite a bit of progressive damage. But you definitely want the burst from Invoker. Gyrocopter, unfortunately, just isn't sufficient enough. He's only got a BKB. There's no real way that Arme can grab any solo kills on his own. They picked up a pipe on the Tide. That does mean they're getting that sustain ready for a high ground push.
Yeah, they're gonna try and make that happen, and I don't think that they're in any rush necessarily. Like with this draft, it's not like CDEC is gonna be able to get completely out of control. I don't think. There's always the worry about, you know, the Refresher, Faceless Void, but you've also got, you know, Refresher, Tidehunter, and Enigma. Like it really is just this game all about who initiates better, who is able to execute better. And I think that both sides have their merits. And probably Vision's going to become the most important thing. And you can see right now, CDEC, they've got some in their own jungle, but outside of that, they haven't really been able to get a ton of wards down. Meanwhile, on the side of the Dire, they've got wards behind the Tier 2 tower in the top lane, as well as over by the Roche Pit. So eyes are kind of all over the place, and they're going to be able to scout out when they want to take the team fight that they want. And it looks like they're going to go for a smoke now.
And I think they're just going to smoke into the Roche Pit. They don't really need to jump into CDEC right now. There is going to be the Sunstrike at least, so they're not going to support anyone in the Roche Pit. EHOME wants to go for a fight. They want to at least go for a pick-off so that they force out all of CDEC spells early, and then when it comes to Roche, CDEC won't be able to contest. But no one's in here, so I think they'll just take Roche now. Luckily for them, though, the Sunstrike's on cooldown. It's off for 5 seconds.
And they're going to take this so freaking quickly. And again, like, how do you come and contest this? You got Ravage and Black Hole on top of DP
Double
ulti.
damage, Clinks.
This is where things start to get a little bit silly. And he just now up on Clinks. It's looking like it's time to go. They're probably going to wait for DP ulti again and maybe Octarine on her. But at least being able to finish this off, it's pretty great for them.
It's a DD Clinks as well. We've got it bowled up and he's ready for the next team fight. So any hero that Lanham jumps on is probably going to die within the span of three Clinks hits. That's all it's going to take. He hits so hard, especially with the minus armor being thrown out by the Deso. It really hurts some of these CDEC heroes. They've got Inflame pushing up top, and they've got the Earth Spirit here to sort of babysit him, but no one from EHOME's really responding. They will send heroes up now. They did a reasonable amount of damage to that T2 at least, so Inflame's time is not wasted.
Oh, Inflame was thinking about this. He didn't end up going for the death pack yet, but wanted to come eat one of these creeps, and he's kind of stalking the Gyrocopter, who is going to end up moving out again. I really think that he's going to think about going for this if he spots him in lane, and at least for now is not going to go for it. But yeah, he could kill that Gyrocopter so quickly.
Yeah, BKB or not, Clinks really doesn't care about BKBs. So what's the plan here for EHOME? They've got the BKB on Enigma, so Ice is going to have almost nothing to cancel out the black hole outside of the chronosphere, but I'm pretty sure he will save the black hole for after chrono, or at least after it's been casted. So all of a sudden CDEC has nothing to deal with Enigma.
Yeah, no, and that's the issue right here, is that you've got all of these spells, but more importantly now, like, if you want to try and, I mean, obviously the only channeled one is going to be black hole, but you need the chronosphere to be able to have the damage to fight, but then you also need the chronosphere to be able to cancel the black hole, and you really just have to rely upon your positioning to not get caught in a bad spot like that. So DD Rune now popped. He's going to have it for a little while and going to be ready to start pressuring down these towers. He does not have his BKB yet himself. Still needs about 500 more gold before that's going to be online. And it looks like instead they're going to be going for a counterplay on the bottom tier 1 tower. I don't know about this, because they're going to be able to move very rapidly up ahead. Like, you've got Octarine Core on DP now. They can just commit this if they want and think about being ready to go. End up popping the glyph.
We'll buy a little bit of time, and man, I'm just gonna blink back a bit. We've got Exorcism popped as well on Old Chicken, so this is when the tower starts to really hurt, and CDEC, they need to find an opening, but the problem is, who do they chrono? Everyone's so spread. Tower's just gone.
Yeah, Lanham did so much damage to it right there, and he's going to step up again and just rip these towers apart. They do manage to hit the Boulder Smash onto Old Chicken, but the pipe is now committed as well, and it looks like they're going to call it good for now. Interesting.
Okay, why not? They took an objective with nothing lost. Aegis will be proclaimed in 2 minutes, but I think there's going to be another opening for EHOME to try and go for that push. 65 seconds, or at least a minute left on the cooldown, and then they'll be ready to go again. They didn't even commit any major spells outside of Exorcism. Like, EHOME doesn't really need to wait. They can just take this nice and slow, take the Raxes, and with the mid lane consistently pushing once the Raxes are taken. Oh, Victoria!
He's got a Ghost Scepter. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be so careful though. Clinks hurt so much.
That's a problem. And you know, again, you're moving up here. You kind of want to commit this if the DP can die before Aegis. Oh wait, she doesn't have the Aegis. What am I even talking about? So yeah, they're just going to move Old Lanham up front and center then. Oh, they catch the Chronosphere onto 2. Old 11 is dropping low, and it does look like he's going to go down here. He's going to be Ice 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 up front and center. Hasn't committed his Black Hole yet. He's actually not going to be able to get almost anything from it. His BKB is already popped, and he has to back out. He would have just gotten hit with the Supernova, and there's the Silence down now as well. Old Lanham in the midst of him doing a lot of damage to demons, but not quite enough. BKB has been popped now for Amy, trying to kill him off, and it does look like, at least for now, Clinks is still alive. Are they going to be able to...
a Black Hole?
He needs to be so careful right now.
He just whiffed it on the ground. He got absolutely nobody. Oh, Ice.
God. And Old Lanham, his Aegis might expire soon if he's not careful. Like, if they can wait for that Aegis to expire, then they'd be able to get the kill off right away, but it looks like they're going to be able to kill off the Phoenix nonetheless, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find the kill onto Old Lanham. Trying to Rolling Boulder away, the Courier is chasing him with the, come take the wards, please. And they finally bring it back, so they're able to get away with only losing the Enigma and the Tide, and they didn't actually commit the Ravage or the Black Hole in that fight, but they still won it.
Okay, Ice did use the Black Hole.
Oh, right, of course.
He casted it, oh, you can't see my pings. He casted it in, close to the Observer Ward, and no one was in the area, so he casted it for a split second. He had an oh shit moment. He had an instant kill, instantly cancelled, because he knew no one was going to walk into it, and they just sort of ran away hoping no one saw.
Yeah. And
then he died, so that was unfortunate.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, clearly. You gotta love Ice Ice Ice, though, and unfortunately he's probably a little bit upset with himself. It's all good, don't worry. Still got the 9-second BKB charge. He took down a tier 3 tower. It's all hunky-dory. And now again, Old Levin with the blinked dagger. I feel like he was a little bit out of position there. He didn't need to be up there in the position where he could get chronoed, and he kind of got punished for it. So A little bit unfortunate. If you got the Aegis up on Clinks, I kind of feel like you could just stand on high ground and go for it. But jumping into the mid lane, again, Old 11 silenced up. Does he pop the Ravage? It looks like he's just going to end up dying. Guardian Greaves, he's still alive. They catch on the Chrono one too. Ice Ice in a ton of trouble. Lanham is trying to beat them down. Victoria is going to fall, and Ice Ice pops his BKB. Alive for the moment. There's going to be the sun. They're trying to kill it off, and it does look like they're going to be able to get it. Amy dropping so low, and they get the Gyrocopter before he's able to TP away. Now they're turning to Earth Spirit. He is going to end up dying, and Demons drops also just too much too quickly, and now mid they go. Oh, man.
They got the two major teamfight controllers on EHOME, and there was just not enough damage follow-up from CDEC. They got the Tide, which is great, but the rest of EHOME were able to just run all over CDEC, and now it's just going to be Inflamed as well as XY to try and defend these Raxes, and here come the buybacks. They really need it if they want to try and keep this melee one alive. The ranged Rax can drop at least. It's just going to be the super ranged creeps, but they need to make sure that the melee is always up. The only problem is that there's no Chrono.
Yeah. They do now do a lot of damage. That's the Sunray going forward, and need to be careful. Meteor dropping. Oh, they're going to go for it again. Snowball defensively, keeping him alive, but that does mean the Tusk's probably going to die. Old Chicken is up front and center with YXZ, and that does look like they're going to be able to find that kill. So 2 down. Pretty nice.
Very, very nice. They didn't even get the Rax as well. Range Rax survives at 29 HP.
Oh, God.
So close. It's within a fingertip of EHOME, and they just couldn't quite take it. So they give away 2 huge kills to CDEC, and now it's going to be EHOME in a defensive position to try and keep this T2 tower pretty healthy. Luckily for them, though, we pointed it out earlier, CDEC's draft is not great at pushing, so this tower's not going to drop. Unless EHOME just sort of leave it, which I highly doubt. They've got 2 heroes in position to try and go for a jump.
And they got the Blink Ravage if they want to use it. Black Hole is going to be back up in a second as well. So CDEC.Y, they back out. They realize that there could be a problem right there, and I don't know. I'm really concerned about them and their ability to make this happen, because over and over again, it's felt like this Invoker has like not been there to cast all the spells. If they would have been able to hit the big combos together onto the Tidehunter a little bit previously in that last fight, he probably would have gone down. They wouldn't have had to deal with him, and I don't know. It's felt a little bit sketchy back and forth. I really feel like EHOME have been out-executing them.
I want to say EHOME got a little outplayed just now. So,
well, yeah, previously.
Yeah. Not everything to EHOME. We'll give CDC their credit where it's due. They're going to take the top tower at least, so T2 for them is going to be secured. Extra gold into the pockets of their cores. They really need this gold onto Ame, though. He's struggling so much in terms of farm. He's going for Manta style, which it's fine, but the Gyrocopter doesn't hit enough for his illusions to really be useful. Like, the only case where it'll be great is if he's silenced up and the BKB's not there. So he can get out of the silence, but it really doesn't add too much to the Gyrocopter's presence in the game. He's just not hitting hard enough yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, over to the side now, it does look like they're going to be trying to maybe think about securing Roshan when it comes back up. It is going to be relatively soon. But nothing yet. Bottom lane, call down committed. Old Lanham is here. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to break the TP in time, though. And thought about it for a second, but not going to be able to get it.
Yeah, I couldn't quite find him. Oh, actually, the Sunstrike does a decent amount of damage. Lanham was a little bit lower than they could have killed him, but unfortunately, Sunstrike just not strong enough. So what's the plan now for EHOME? Are they just waiting for the Roshan?
I mean, that seems to be the play. I think that they can take it consistently, and normally what you're going to be able to do is have the, Exorcism down to take it, and then secure it with the 2 big AoE spells to make sure that CDEC can't really contest. The big issue that they have now is that tier 2 tower is down in the top lane, so they always have to keep it pressured, and you can't do that if you're taking Roshan. So there's sort of being pulled back and forth across the map, which is kind of a little unique thing, and it looks like CDC are actually going to be going for the jump forward now, as they've already committed the smoke, and they might be going for Roshan themselves.
Unless they just want to go for a gank instead.
Yeah,
they're going to come through the mid lane. They could cut someone off if anyone goes south, but they're going to go north. Well, actually, if anyone goes mid, they could be in a lot of trouble, but Inflame's just going to start farming up the jungle. Alright, mission abort. Yeah.
See Ice and Roshan getting fresh in the Roche pit. But yeah, they can just run in here and commit the exorcism if they want. But again, like we were talking about, tier 2 tower down, pressure on the top lane. They're going to have to respond to this. They can't just give up Arax.
Yeah, absolutely not. They do finish the Daedalus on the Clinks, though.
They actually
so
don't have
Lanham's
TPs,
gonna...
really. They all have to run back. They're actually going to do a lot of damage to this tower.
About half, which is good for CDEC. Free tower damage.
Yeah.
That's more than half. Wow.
Yeah, the Tide had his TP on cooldown, and everybody else didn't have it except for the Enigma, but he couldn't get the, like, if he just TPs in there solo, he's just gonna die.
Someone's gonna have to push that tower out to at least where the T1 used to be. Then at least they have a creep buffer, so then they can take the Roshan quite comfortably. But it was a very good decision for CDEC to go for a top push when they knew that EHOME was poised for a Rosh taking.
No.
So at least EHOME's going to start taking out the creep wave up top, then they have a creep buffer to work with at least.
I like the Diffusal Blade up on Void too. It's kind of unique with the Invoker also, because it gives you, first of all, the extra bit of damage, and you know the bonus attack speed that you're going to get out of it means that you're going to be able to drain that mana that much more effectively. And if you're able to drain away the mana of like the Enigma, for instance, all of a sudden he doesn't end up having enough for the mechanism or the does he have Guardian Greaves finished yet? He doesn't. So yeah, that could be an issue, but they're going to go on in now and try and take out Roshan. They should be able to secure this quickly.
I don't know. I don't think CDEC was watching the river. If they did, they would have seen the bounty rune getting taken by Lanham, and they would have actually checked the Rosh. But I don't think anyone saw it. So it's going to be a free Rosh for EHOME. It doesn't really matter if there's an observer ward on the high ground. And all of a sudden, you've got everyone going right onto this poor Earth Spirit. He just wants to go home. Oh, is he actually going to go home for free? Oh no! EHOME!
What a play.
Ice is going to chase him, but then he just gives up. Oh, geez.
Wow.
And someone has to address top lane too. Oh gosh.
Lanham's looking for him. They do manage to spot him out there, jumps forward, and is going to actually kill off demons. Oh god. They thought he got away, but Clink's got him again. That's frustrating.
Got him. In the top lane, they look at Inflame. He's doing a huge amount of... He's causing havoc up here. He's taken the tower, and all of a sudden the Raxes are exposed because no one decided to TP to help up top.
Yeah.
Inflame's making plays. Although he has to be careful. He could get jumped on by Lanham.
See if they're going to be able to find him. He TPs away wisely after the Ghost Walk and is going to be good to go. So it's pretty good play there by the Invoker. Again, it's not the best thing in the world because they still did end up losing Roshan ostensibly for that because he went up there right away from the start, and it sort of was the result that they ended up needing to give up the Aegis. But I don't think that they could have contested either way, so it's kind of a moot point.
But the way that Inflame's playing, it's so good because it's giving his team so much time, and in particular for Arme, because he's managed to finish up an Eagle Song, and he's getting closer and closer to a Butterfly. So then at least the Gyrocopter is going to start being able to hit harder once he gets the flak up. So Arme is slowly coming back into the game with the help of Inflame. If Inflame can keep on making space like this for CDEC, they very well may have a better chance at contesting EHOME, even though there's a black hole as well as Ravage on the map.
Yeah, it's pretty, I mean,
Oh, wow. Perfect world.
And so this is something that occasionally happens. I'm not getting any lag this time around, so this actually I think is probably something that looks like a team house issue, obviously, as they're all going to end up slowly coming back. So less on the servers this time. We can't blame them every time. You'd love to, but actually I do, so I'll just shut up now.
Just you, Lyrical. It's fine. I understand.
Absolutely. As far as other big items that are up now, though, Gyrocopter, it's kind of weird. He's gone for all of these like super defensive items. The BKB first, then the Manta. Afterwards, now he's going for the Butterfly, which obviously has high damage components, but a big part of it also is that evasion for the Clinks. And it's really relying heavily upon this Alacrity coming out from the Invoker to buff him up and make sure that he actually still does damage. And when it's on him, you know, an extra 115 damage, 115 attack speed, it's super relevant. So you need to make sure that they're able to get that on him before the fights start.
Yeah, they really do. But it's going to be based on the positioning of CDEC more, because they need to make sure they don't get caught out, because let's face it, right? Even if you have all the damage in the world, if you're being black holed, if you're being ravaged, if you're being disabled, they actually are going to try and jump onto Old Chicken. They're going to commit the Chronosphere as well. That's a guaranteed kill on the Death Prophet. That's even more time for CDEC to use, although Lanham has almost found demons. He gets him with the crit! 700!
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Jesus. He hits
That's some
hard.
good stuff. That is some good stuff. You love to see the crits come through, and the Daedalus completed showing off why it's a pretty good one for him. And still has the Aegis, too, so he didn't really need to worry that much. The thing that's kind of weird about this is that EHOME it's a nice answer from CDEC.Y, and it's something that we ended up seeing also as an answer when we were at the Major previously, is you just go for like the split pushy type of builds, and even the Gyrocopter getting in on the action. His illusions are doing a ton of damage because he's built all of these stat items, and he's got his Manta style just continually pushing out the lanes. So all in all, I feel like CDEC.Y are playing this about as perfectly as they can. They just need to make sure that Amy doesn't get caught out as he's farming the jungle, and he's doing an okay job of it. Clinks is still looking, but hasn't found him yet.
I don't know if you'd be able to kill the Gyro now. Gyro's... I don't know. I don't want to say he's reasonably tanky. He's alright. But he's not in a safe health threshold. But for now, at least he's going to be able to get out safely. He pops the cooldown just onto the creep wave. Wants to finish that up quickly. And for EHOME with the Death Prophet down, they've just... essentially all they can do is hope that Lanham gets kills while they wait for the Death Prophet to respawn. And they're going to blink forward with Fenrir. They were hoping that the Gyrocopter went up there. But now that they've been spotted... they're probably wanting to leave, but Lanham, he's stuck around a little too long. He still has the Aegis though, so he can try to get a blink out.
You've got Tidehunter here as well. They're actually going to come in on this, and they're going to be able to hit a big old Ravage. They pop the BKB on the Faceless Void, and it looks like they're not going as of yet. They want to wait for that to wear off, and they can still go for the catch if they want to. It looks like they're not going to go for it as of yet, though, and... well, Tusk actually goes forward. Walrus Punch. They've got the capability. No, but they get the Chronosphere, and all of a sudden they're going to be at a ton of damage. Old 11 dropping low. Hasn't died yet, though, and he doesn't manage to get off the Ravage. And meanwhile, Old Chicken, he's trying to be able to turn it back around. Black Hole onto 5. They might be able to do it. They're doing so much damage to Amy. Everybody's so low, and they are going to be able to turn it back around. Ice, the freaking god from the east, has been able to do it again, and it looks like they kill off Phoenix as well. Holy hell, what a play.
Oh, jeez. I was watching him just wait. He was waiting. He was waiting for his Blink Dagger to come off cooldown. His BKB was just coming off cooldown. He played it so patiently. Although the Death Prophet's going to take no damage at all, as she does manage to... actually, no, Inflamed used her. Well, someone used her at least, so she's going to be safe. And unfortunately for Victoria, he's going to do a lot of damage to Old Chicken. They do kill him off.
That was the Invoker that Yules her up, so that way she wouldn't get the regen from the Ghost Spirits. That was such a high-level play.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. I was like, is he actually trying to prevent the damage? And he's now up top, and no one's actually in base outside of the Tusk, and Tusk by himself can't really do too much to the Invoker, and he's doing some decent damage to the range Rax.
Yeah, they're doing this. Alacrity'd up the little Forge Spirits. They haven't been able to bring it down as of yet, but... all of these heroes dead on the side, and you look at this, it's just like back and forth we go. You get a huge play out of Ice, but then you turn it back around and you pick off the DP. Like, again, it's not an easy game by any means at all. EHOME are doing their best with it, but CDEC are putting up a hell of a fight as well.
Oh god. So for now, EHOME, they can take great team fights, which is great, but the problem is that after all the spells they used, they're also vulnerable. Especially with CDEC, they've got spells that are on lower cooldowns, so they're able to be much more aggressive, although we just see a Scythe of Ice picked up on Lanham. So all of a sudden, you've got hard lockdown for the Clinks, and he's able to go for solo kills now. He can probably go into the jungle and grab an easy pick off onto Arme, assuming he sees him.
Yeah.
If he's going in the jungle.
If they show in lane, alright, so they have the call down, so they recognize that he's over here, but I don't know if they end up trying to find him. They are going to move in now. Old Lanham spots him out, pops the Manta style, realizes which one's real, and it does look like he's going to be able to find him out. No way to get out of this one. And I think that he is going to end up going down here. They're holding off on it. They're just sort of stalking him for the moment and waiting for their proper time to go for it. I don't know.
Can he kill him though? Do you think he can? He was hitting 700 crits previously. Oh, he knows he's there now.
Yeah, and then they run away. That sucks. Oh, man. Yeah, just being able to spot him out with that sentry ward that's been placed down, that really hurts.
Oh, gosh. So, EHOME, what do they do now?
I think that right now, if you're EHOME side, you need to again wait for another Roshan, and it's kind of crazy that that's what we're saying at this point, because they have such better team fight, but I don't think that they can deal with this split push that's coming along the top lane, and if they end up losing, you know, one of these range racks or, you know, the melee barracks as well, Like, they need to find a pick-off first, and it's so hard to really do anything with all of the pressure along the top lane. Maybe some of those Tinker Wards along the top here to scout out the Invoker as he's split pushing?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Then at least they'd be able to catch him out. But Inflame all of a sudden just became a whole lot more dangerous as he's just picked up a refresher orb.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Inflame. Honestly, Inflame is keeping CDEC in the game. He's made so many plays, forcing EHOME back, grabbing some kills, split pushing as well, consistently keeping EHOME on their toes, that EHOME's never really had an opportunity to have 100% control of this game and to do whatever they've really wanted to. It's been mostly them trying to make plays, and then all of a sudden, Inflame forcing EHOME back because they haven't really they really haven't given themselves enough of an opening to do anything without losing huge objectives.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do something about Inflame. He's so good.
Yeah. He's really keeping them in this game, and I think probably the problem is that, like, you have a Clinks that can run around and do the same type of thing, but he can't carry a gem because he has to have all these other damage items. Whereas Invoker, he's allowed to, like, he can go for whatever the heck he wants at this stage pretty much, and is able to scout people out. Obviously, he can't carry a gem either, but is still just, the Ghost Walk movement speed. Look at him right now, 516. It's just absurd, and he's always going to be able to sort of keep that lane push out. You see Ice now trying to do it as well. He had his Eidolons going, and they're going to cut the creep wave again. So for the moment, at least, they're going to have to call it good, and he's definitely behind enemy lines. He does place in those little Tinker Wards, so that's nice.
Little Tinker Wards. Are they really Tinker Wards?
Yeah, man. That's what those. I mean, nobody plays Tinker, but sure.
The split push wards. You can use it for Nature's Prophet. You can call them Nature Prophet wards too.
That's true. I like Tinker Wards better. It's a cool word.
Okay.
The Sunstrike in there again onto Roshan. So EHOME realized that they can take it now, as they do still have the vision forward, but they're going to be able to kill it so freaking quickly, and it looks like it's going to be DP to take it this time.
Alright then. So with the Aegis though, I don't know if EHOME feels comfortable enough to really push up high ground versus CDEC. They've got Cheese, which is great for 11, so he has the extra regen to work with. I would say for them, if you're EHOME, wait for the refresher orb into 11 first, and then consider going up high ground. The double Ravage is something that it's not even probably, they need the double Ravage going high ground, so they have enough control to kill off those heroes with LAN-M with the flick of your fingers. Yeah. They need to turn it at least into a 4v versus 5 engagement before EHOME can sort of stay in CDEC's base.
Well, the thing also is that he hasn't even actually been able to get off one mostly. They've been committing the Chronosphere for him over and over again, so it's still an issue. Like, I think probably, I don't know what you do with that besides just have better positioning.
Does LAN-M consider killing Inflame here? He's in the mid lane by himself.
He's going to
go for the Faceless. He can't get it by himself though. There's just not enough damage.
Yeah. Well, they're still going to keep it cool, calm, and collected for the moment. LAN-M just keeps on getting stronger and stronger, and do you feel like Boots of Travel next for him, or does he think about going for eating the Moon Shard first? What are your thoughts there?
For LAN-M, he probably needs to eat Moon Shard first. He really, really needs the extra attack speed. It doesn't matter if you're hitting these massive crits. If you can't grab solo kills on the Clinks, then I would say that the Scythe of Ice wouldn't really be worth it unless he's getting those solo kills. Like, it's great because his team can also capitalize on it too, but most of the time they haven't really been sticking together. They will start sticking together now, and they're going to try and at least start taking this last melee Rax that's in the mid lane. CDEC, how do they respond? They're going to glyph and buy some time. Inflame's not coming back though. He's going to stick around in that bottom lane. He's got no TP for 20 seconds too.
Huh.
If EHOME knew this, they actually would have tried to do a little bit of damage to either top or bottom T3 towers.
I think that they're actually trying to find him. They're pinging out that direction at least, and never mind, they're going to back out. It was kind of weird, curious for a second, because the Enigma did write on the line that he wanted to go that direction, but maybe they ended up making a call not to go for him, and he was able to TP away. So for now, they're going to content themselves with just those melee barracks. Again, it's just with this DD rune, maybe now you feel comfortable going. So much freaking damage with that, but it's hard to take the fight just because if you get caught out at any given point in time, everybody pushes so quickly in this game that you're just going to lose your whole base if you don't have buyback.
And it looks like it's going to be CDEC on the hunt now. They've got XZ. Moving forward, he's the one that's going to initiate along with Inflame. And for now, they're just going to scout out with the Invoker to see if they can spot anyone out in the jungle. And Lanham's in the jungle, but he won't be an easy target unless everyone's nearby. Instead, they do spot out Fenrir. He can be an easy kill, but they also are going to be spotting out 11. They actually found Inflame. They could lose him. The crits, the double damage. Oh, Jesus, Lanham. He just decimated Inflame. And then you could just see CDEC, the moment they saw the Invoker drop, they immediately backed up. Whoa.
That was really great. He does have buyback, but forcing the buyback there is huge as well. They now caught over on the other side. That's going to be YXZ dropping pretty low. He pops the Diffusal Blade, fine for the moment. Spirit Siphon still going. They get the Hex off, and now he's in trouble. They got the crits on him. The right clicks are there. They find the kill, and now you're going to be forced at the decision. Do you buy back on these two cores now? I feel like you have to with the pressure that's going to be coming, and they buy back on the Invoker, still waiting on Void. We'll see if they really committed or not.
It's good though. That's going to be no buyback for the Invoker if he dies again. And obviously EHOME's going to be wanting to take him off the map for sure, knowing that he has no buyback. It's just, can they get the control onto the Invoker? They need someone to jump on top of him. And obviously without the Faceless Void, that's a lot of control for CDEC down the drain. But you can see how EHOME, they're so worried. And here we go, the buyback's there. Ravage gets deployed, the Black Hole only connects onto one, but they kill Inflame. That's the Invoker off the map for 2 minutes. The Supernova does connect onto 2, the Chronosphere onto 3. They decimate Ice. Lanham's the next one to drop. 11 going to be the third one potentially. He eats the cheese, he lives for a little bit longer, and they're going to try and finish it off with Old Chicken. They get the secondary Ravage. Victoria to fall. Demon, he's trying to run away. Army trying to get some Fountain regen. They bring back in the Faceless Void. Has EHOME overextended in this base fight? Lanham's focusing down the tower at least. And EHOME, they need to back up. They can't lose the 3-man kick. They catch 1 and 2.
Oh
Chicken,
God.
he's going to be the next one to die. And Lanham, he has to get out of here. They can't afford to lose that Clinks. He blinks out at least, and the Death Prophet going to be slowed up and dead.
Holy
EHOME,
hell. Demons.
EHOME, what have they done?
The Demon stun right there at the end, like everything coming together for him. And you look at this, they didn't even take the tier 3 tower. Like throughout all of that, they won the fight. My goodness. CDEC.Y just showing off right there. They committed 4 buybacks between the two teams, but it's still going to be just this huge turnaround. And CDEC.Y, you can't sleep on them. They're incredibly good at being able to pressure towers after the fact. And I'm looking at the buyback status right now. I mean, you've got it on the Tusk, you've got it on the Tidehunter, DP as well. But if you're forced to use those, the next fight becomes that much more difficult.
Oh, jeez. Every single time, EHOME, they've been overextending in the base. Like, you can understand why you want to be trying to wipe CDEC. The Invoker's not there. The main damage dealer plus the Deafening Blast has been a huge problem for EHOME. But for CDEC to make this defense without the Invoker as well, that really says something about CDEC as a team. And now all of a sudden, you've got CDEC knocking on your front door, forcing a buyback from the Death Prophet plus a Glyph. And if you're CDEC, you're going to be pretty happy with that to force out some pretty big buyback from a very important hero from EHOME.
Lanham does have another DD rune here, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to make use of it. Like, again, CDEC.Y, they're just playing this so calculated. They're making sure that they're never overextending, and now in Gyrocopter, you're starting to get real big damage-dealing items, and he's already got the survivability needs. Granted, he does only have a 6-second BKB right now, but regardless, I think that he's going to be in a situation where, with Alacrity on him, they don't necessarily have to have Inflame drop in the combos together with it. So, I don't know. Right now, if you're EHOME, you can't be pressing in the middle lane like this. You gotta be so careful because they're smoked up and starting to move over into the jungle.
Oh, if CDC grabs some kills here, it could be big. There's no buyback outside of 11.
They're gonna be able to
They found
them.
3. Oh, quick blink out from Ice. They only managed to catch the Void only onto 1 there, but they've already blown 2 up. Now Old Chicken trying to sap some HP. Well, where's the backup though? Lanham going to be jumped on by Inflame as well as XZ, and the Invoker's trying to run away. The Black Hole only onto 2 though. Victoria and XZ, they're stuck in the hole. They can't do anything. 2 dead for CDC with no buybacks. Now they need to run away with the Faceless Void, but he's another hero that's going to die. 2 gems on the deck. 3 heroes with no buyback. Do EHOME pushed mid.
They've only got the buyback on the Earth Spirit, and he's not dead. So no Void for 100 seconds, no Gyrocopter for 95 seconds.
So they
I
go
think
T4?
EHOME, they just go T4 here. I can't believe that this just happened. EHOME were able to outlast them. The team fight was not what it needed to be. He's sheeping up range creeps because he knows that it's over right now. They're going to jump on top of this Invoker, do have the silence. There's the Malphus, and it does look like he's going to end up going down. There's going to be tier 4s, the Exorcism, everything committed, and GG ends up getting called. Oh my god. What the hell did we just watch?
CDEC, they threw a huge game. They honestly, as a team, CDEC had an opportunity to come back and potentially take the game off of EHOME, but just the back of that one fight, they should have known they had no buybacks, and they should have known that if they lost that team fight badly, that they were going to lose their base. Yeah. And so the story goes.
It happened.
Don't be too greedy.
EHOME ended up being able to take it there. Like you said, it could have gone either way. I don't know if either team completely deserved to win, but you certainly saw some pretty freaking amazing plays from both squads. So I'm excited to see what happens in game number 2. We need to hurry up to make sure that we make that lobby, so we'll keep this one short. Thank you guys for watching. At Lyrical Dota, at Danelie Casts for more. We'll be right back with more from the H Cup presented by BTS. See you guys in a second.